Hello and welcome to this episode of the Ranting Atheist podcast. Today we'll be listening to the deconversion story of a pantheist. She used to be a Christian and she questioned her beliefs and it got her to where she currently is. So I asked different questions to try and understand her perspective as honestly as possible. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you haven't subscribed up, please consider subscribing on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and other places podcasts are available. Then check out the show notes for links you may find useful, including our Discord server. Would love to have you there. So now, let's go and listen to the deconversion story of Gina. Hello, Gina, and welcome to Story of an Atheist.
Thank you.
How you doing now? Welcome to our domots.
I know, right? Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. And when I say domots, this is where we're having this conversation on Discord. So if you are listening to this, join our Discord so that you can easily tell your story. It is just like the app is just like a house, and there are different rooms. So me and Gina are inside a room having private discussions so that everybody can listen. So you are very welcome, Gina.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let us know more about Gina. We know we are speaking with Gina. Your location, if you are comfortable with that. Your age, are you Gen Z? Are you millennial? Are you Agbalagba? You know?
Okay.
What do you do for a living? Have they snatched you off the markets? And so on and so forth.
Okay. So, I'm Gina. I based in Abuja. I'm 25.
Nice.
Let's see. No, they've not snatched me off the market, and I'm not willing to be snatched.
People were having 2 seconds of hope before you smashed it. Yeah. All right. What else? Any other thing?
Okay. So like I said, I based in Abuja, and I'm a pharmacist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like that. So, you're welcome. Now, well, let me see now. When it comes to the belief, religious standing, or you understand, what do you identify as? Is he an atheist? Is he agnostic? You know, what do you identify as? If they ask you.
Okay, I like to say I'm spiritual because when I left like organized religion, I didn't just leave spirituality completely. I practiced my own personal spirituality.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. So let's unpack what your experience was like with organized religion. Let's go inside it before we now. Yeah, for the beginning.
Okay. So, and funny enough, I went to missionary secondary school.
Only secondary school. Me, all my life is God has been in my face. So, both nursery, primary, secondary, university too. So, and yes, look at me hosting an atheist podcast. What a waste.
And look at me here with you.
As a really of life.
Okay. So, my secondary school was like very strict. When it comes to religion, they are very strict. We are always reading the Bible. In the morning, they wake you up for your morning prayers.
Yeah, so.
And then we have the general morning prayers on assembly. And then after that, it depends on the day of the week. We can either have discipleship program or Bible study or one of those things. And then in the night before we sleep,
like is it a Redeemish school? Smells like that?
No, it's not. I'd rather not read it. It's like one of these Christian schools that are very serious. It's like one of those ministries. They are school.
Hope is not white and red, Sha.
No.
Okay, so I continue.
Okay. So for me then it was more about being curious and getting to know what I believe in. Because I'm a very curious person. I like to understand what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, the way I was exposed to the Bible was the way you just know what they tell you, basically. So you're going to church, they're preaching to you in Sunday school and everything. You're growing up learning Bible stories and learning different things during morning devotion. You're learning other Bible stories and parts of the Bible. But then it's different when you start getting to know it for yourself. Now I'm in secondary school. I have time to read the Bible and get to understand it to the extent I want to understand it. So I would say my own awakening, because I just call it my awakening. It came from a place of sincerity. I wanted to get to know God more than I did. And I wanted to know him on a personal level, get to understand him, answer my questions and all this stuff. So reading the Bible, I was seeing contradicting things. And the questions I had before that, I felt okay, I didn't know the answer to them because I'd not read the Bible the way I'm supposed to know. Maybe with time, as I get to know God, I would get those answers to my questions. I know how they say it now. When you get to the Holy Spirit and you ask him, he will answer anything for you.
Mm-hmm.
So me, I wanted to get my own Google search, aka Holy Spirit, so that I can ask him anything and he would answer it for me.
Wow, I've not heard it put that way. Okay.
I mean, basically, ask him anything and you get any answer to your question. That's basically Google.
You have a point, exactly.
So, and then I'm getting to know this Bible on a personal level, and it wasn't making sense to me. But at that point, I was scared. It's funny where when you're getting to know it through it, the first emotion you're feeling is fear. So that was the emotion I was feeling.
Yeah.
Because I started having doubts, but then, and the doubt I was having was valid because, and I said, I finished the Bible cover to cover twice.
Wow. I never see you read the cover. I never do cover to cover. I can't do it. But maybe one day, Atheist Bible study will help me get there.
I mean, over the 6 years of my course in my secondary school, I finished it that's aside the daily reading that we're doing on my own. That's how curious I was. Yep. So that was where I was convinced. So it's not like they said or someone, it's me now knowing I have gone and I'm looking for this Holy Spirit. And we used to have revival where they're the Holy Spirit will come upon you and you're speaking in tongues. I won't lie, I was never able to speak in tongues because I was waiting for it sincerely. But I saw people around me speaking in tongues and I was wondering, is there something wrong with me?
What you're saying as a very what I was expecting, the way they describe, you feel something just hijack you and you start little coaster I was expecting something to hijack me while I'm aware it's my body, but I'm aware I'm also hijacked at the same time, and the Holy Spirit take the driver's seat.
I know it's very easy to get carried away. Oh, it's happening to everybody, so it should happen to me too. Yeah. And then you just get into. But me, I was trying to be sincere with myself because I knew it was my soul here and I knew what I was dealing with. I wasn't trying to put on a show for everybody. You can lie to anybody, but you can't lie to yourself. So even if I fake the speaking in tongues at that point, I would have known deep within me I didn't get the Holy Spirit. And I might have ended up being angry at myself, maybe if I had waited, I might have gotten the true Holy Spirit. But I was too quick to start faking it. You understand? So I was willing to give myself time to, anytime the Holy Spirit is ready to come upon me, then I'm ready. Me, I've opened up my mind sincerely. And this God can see your heart. So he could see my heart. As at then, how I was thinking. He could see how sincere I was and how I actually wanted to get to know him. But over time, it was just okay, I'm waiting for this God. I'm trying to know this God and he doesn't want to hear from me or he doesn't want to get to know me. Or how you would feel some kind of way, is there something wrong with me? Thank you. So I already started derailing a bit from spirituality, but I didn't think there was another option. Growing up in Nigeria, there are very limited options for you to know. It's apart from Christianity, every other thing is demonic. So you're scared of going towards the demonic path.
Yeah.
And then
Were there
So
any,
after,
sorry, is there any standout passages in the Bible that struck you that do you have any particular ones or everything in general?
I mean, now it's like passages that struck me.
Yeah, stories, chapters, like for me, Genesis 38 will always ring in my skull.
Okay. You see, now the way I know the Bible is just I know the stories, but I don't know exactly where it is again.
Yeah,
Genesis
you
is
can say the
this.
stories now. We'll have
Mhm.
idea. All
So,
stories,
like,
yeah.
just give me a descent of the story, and then maybe I would follow.
No, do you understand? I mean, like stories, the stories, some stories you remember from that
Okay.
period. Yeah.
Obviously, there are so many stories in the Bible I liked, like
The
that
ones
were
that stood out that made you to be like, to start questioning. That's what I was trying to
okay.
get
The
at.
ones that made me start questioning. Thank you.
Yeah.
First of all, I would start with the genocide.
Mm.
Like it's very easy to get carried away, like, oh, these are enemies of God, but in the end, they are still people. Like God sending Paul now to go and kill the Amalekites, and he's mentioning what he wants to happen. Like, okay, yes, kill everybody because they have
Paul,
sinned against me. Sorry,
wait, is it?
Saul.
Okay.
Sorry, Saul.
No,
The
Saul
first
Amalekite.
king of Israel. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you for
Saul,
your
Saul.
time.
Okay, King Saul. Okay,
Yes,
yeah, yeah. I
King
always
Saul.
forget. We always forget there's a Saul. There's a Saul in
Okay,
the
and then
Bible.
Saul that changed to
There's,
Paul, right?
yeah, no, Saul. When we hear Saul, it's always somehow I usually flip to Paul, like his
Yeah.
former Saul that
Yes,
became
and
Paul.
then understand.
Mm,
So, and then he's like, kill the babies, kill the toddlers, the women,
yeah,
everybody. Like,
wipe
those
them
people
all up.
didn't do anything. And then, if you want to think about even the story of Noah, when the whole world, like, he drowns the whole world because they had sinned against him. If you think about it, the babies didn't do nothing. And
Yep.
there were toddlers that didn't know their left from their right. Obviously, they can't walk to the ark, even if they wanted to. And you don't expect someone all the way from Africa, here we are, to someone of 13 years old. Let's assume that's like an old age where you're self-aware enough to know, okay, I want to get on the ark. How would you get to the ark?
Mm.
Like, so
Miracle
that was like pure
handedness.
genocide against both the guilty and the innocent. And I felt if you are God, you're supposed to be smart enough to
Yep.
be able to distinguish between the people. You can see people's hearts, you can read minds. You should be able to bring a specific the innocent people continue living their life. I mean, basically, for me, that's how it would be. If I'm all knowing and all powerful, that's how it would be for me. I would not kill the innocent with the guilty, because if it's now a human being, I'll say, yes, how would he differentiate them? But we are talking about God here. He should be able to, based on how they've praised him so much, to be omnipotent, omniscience, and everything. And then what other story? Okay, the story of Balaam when the donkey spoke to him.
That one is still a trip for me.
Mm-hmm. And then there is the book of Revelation where it's talking about the end days, where when the trumpets they blew the trumpet, it basically said, first of all, the dead will rise up from the grave, and they'll be the first people that would first of all go up into heaven, that will be raptured into heaven, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, like, the Bible already said immediately after death is judgment. Once you die, you're going to get judged and you're going to die
Story
heaven or
no
hell.
match.
But then now, on the last day, is the dead that are rising up first. Like, their soul that were judged, is it that they are coming back to be judged again? Or I don't understand which dead again. It's not even just making sense. Even me, I can't make sense of it. So there are just so many things that are contrary. And then me as a woman, the Bible is one of the most misogynistic book I have read. And it's funny how
The Quran, I don't know. The Quran might give the Bible a better run. I don't know. But it's all Abrahamic shit, sure.
exactly. Okay, the Quran. Funny, yeah, it's possible that too. But they are all in the same category, like you said.
Yeah.
But then if I'm going to be a woman and I'm going to be involved in this religion, at least I should not be seen as a spoil of war. And I'm not counted in serious cases. They are just counting men. Like basically, God didn't even see women as important. And an
Yep.
all-knowing God is supposed to be free of misogyny or segregation and all those things. He's not supposed to have bias. We are all his children. So he shouldn't be having male and female different like the human mind. That's like very limiting.
Very correct.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I could go on and mention, and when the Bible is talking about women, it's mostly as
Please do.
prostitutes or
We don't
as
mind.
or as someone that is there to tempt. Like it's very few women in the Bible that were mentioned with virtue. It's just always there's always this vile against women.
Yeah.
Like example now, I think it's Numbers. I've forgotten the book, but the story of a guy of a lady. She married her husband. The husband died. I'm trying to remember their names now, but basically anybody that knows the story will be able to follow. So she married the husband. The husband died. She married his brother. The brother died. And then the father, her father-in-law is telling her, like,
That's Genesis 38. That is the exact. Please
oh.
continue. Please continue.
And then the dad is telling her, like, okay, her father-in-law is telling her, like, okay, I do not have any son for you to marry, so you can just go now. And then fine, she goes her way. And then one time the father-in-law came toward like where she was staying, around where she was staying. And then she dressed up and disguised herself. And then she came and slept with the man. And the man is like, okay, I don't have what to pay you, but I would go back home and send my servants to bring an oxen for you as payment. And she agreed, but she's like, okay, before he leaves, let him give her his staff and then another item that he had on him. And he was like, fine, no problem. And then she collected it and he went back home. He sent his servant to come and give her the oxen, and the servant came. I was like, he didn't see her there. So he took the animal back. And then sometime later, he now heard that his daughter-in-law was pregnant. And then he sent people to go and kill her, like, oh, she has sinned against God, she's a prostitute. And he was so angry. And they brought her to stone her to death. They brought her to him for judgment. And he's telling her, like, oh, you've sinned against God, blah, 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 you're a harlot and everything. And she now told him it's his child, and she's going to prove it's his child. And she went and brought the staff and the second item that he gave her and showed him, like, okay, you are the father of the baby. And he now remembered, oh, she's that harlot that did that. He's like, oh, you are blessed before God and men.
Imagine.
Praise be.
Double standard.
Thank you. The switch. So if he was not the
that
one,
is a widow, she's unmarried.
thank you.
They now wanted to kill her. Now he
They wanted
himself
to
is a
kill her.
widower. He has
Thank
gone to commit fornication. No issues with him.
And he was married though.
No, he was a widower too. His wife had died. So
okay, his wife had died, right?
yeah.
But the fact that he was willing to kill her for doing the same thing he did, and when he found out he was the culprit, he could just change him out, and then the law could just automatically change.
Yep.
And then let's get to the story of Lot that was willing to sacrifice his virgin daughters to protect two strange men. It just shows you where they placed women in the Bible. This like when you're like your father will place you as a lady, you're lower than a stranger that he just met how many hours ago. It's crazy. And then it's funny how that Lot story is like two stories that have the same similar stories until it got to a particular part, and then they both deviated into different ends.
Yeah. That's
You know these two stories, right?
The one is instead of with Lot's own, they rejected the daughters. As for the other one, they accepted his concubine, and they raped her all night. He now came, she was virtually dead. I'll be almost dead, then died. Carried her body, deceased her body, and shared it with all the tribes of Israel.
Story is. And then caused a war.
Like the war itself was not another one where women were they wiped out the whole clan of Benjamin. Now left a few. Now left the few women. I mean, they left a few of them. They now said, let's not extinguish them. They now went to the other.
Yes.
There was now one other that didn't join them and killed them and took their women.
These people,
like say they are stealing chicken, somebody's chicken, somebody's pets.
And then when they tell them, oh, you can steal a woman and then she's just like, if we entered misogyny in the Bible, you will see how barbaric it is.
And
Very,
that's the
very.
part that hurts me so much. Like, without women, the church of God will crumble.
Mm-hmm.
They are the backbone of the church. If they do not turn up, everything will dry up. And that is why from childhood they begin to tell them and make them feel inferior and totally needed, in need of the church and in need of a man.
Exactly.
It's fucking hell.
And if you see people that are so misogynistic, it's always related to religion. Misogynistic, homophobic, like anything hate against somebody that is not a
You never
straight
meet misogynistic cases. I'm go shock you.
Thank you. Pastors are very misogynistic. And let's not even enter abuse, how pastors just condone abuse and let it slide and even cover it up.
Because
and
they
try
are
to
so
shame.
engaged.
Exactly. And they give you passages in the Bible where that would, you can't leave your husband, God hates divorce and all the stuff. But in the same Bible says God hates divorce, except in the case of adultery. But they don't even like to mention that part. So you can have a husband cheating on his wife, abusing her, doing all sorts of stuff, and it still go back to your husband. So it's just, it's really a lot to deal with. If we enter the damage religion have done, and it's crazy because once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's like one moment the veil will just be lifted up from your eyes, and then you see everything plainly how it is, and you're like, nah.
No matter how you try to undo it, I remember when I first stopped believing, I was like, I started putting myself back in the state of, I need to believe this thing back. I don't want to go to hell. I need to, I was like, well, every time I tried, it was just bullshit. Every time I tried, it was just bullshit.
And that's truly to show you that stepping out of religion is like gaining knowledge. You're enlightened, and you can't go back on knowledge. Once you know it, you know it. It's only when you're naive that you don't know what you know. You can easily keep swimming in your naivety and then not know anything. But once you know, you already know. You can't go back.
Yes, because this whole religion thing, when you step out, it's like the Wizard of Oz. Once you see that the Wizard of Oz is nothing but a man behind the curtain, you cannot unsee it. You can't. No matter how you try to force your mind, you have already crossed that line. It's that's what me. When someone comes and tells me they used to be an atheist, I'm like, okay, can I ask you some questions? Because it's with those questions you will know. Because me, I'm still able to the fact that it is very possible they actually believe. I do not want to go on the way Christians say, you're never a real Christian. I say, you're never a real atheist. Yes, there's a high probability you weren't actually an atheist or you thought you were. But one needs to ask clarifying questions before coming to that conclusion. So yes, it's highly possible. Don't conclude. It is still, I think in this world, there's a lot of shock. I will never be shocked if I meet somebody that was actually an atheist that became a Christian. Then we'll now sit down.
I'd like to meet them and question them.
Explain to me how you moved from point A to point B, because I feel that you're the only person that can. But every time I have done that, it always exposes that they are full of shit. So
right, because is it that, and I feel it's Christians that just maybe one time they're angry at God for something, they'll not be like, I don't believe you answer my prayer, finish, and then they now go back to their
deconstructing. Maybe they stop going to church, but they still believe.
Because I feel there's no how you would see it and unsee it, and me, it wasn't even intentional for me.
It's never intentional.
It wasn't. It was never. I would have never even thought. Because I felt that was the only way to go.
I did not even know there was even a possibility of not believing.
Thank you. I did not even know. Like, imagine secondary school now. Where are you knowing atheists from and all this stuff? And And then from my last year in secondary school up till my university days, I was just free. Like I didn't believe in any spirituality, nothing. I was just living my life. And I can swear that was the most relief I've been. Normally, when I was younger, I used to be scared of the dark. Like, oh, demons, this, you're always praying for demons, praying against evil spirits. Something bad is happening, you're already blaming the devil. But you could easily see things for what it was. It's like I lost fear for the unknown. So I could be lying down here alone in the house and I would hear a noise. The first thing that will come to me will not be fear. I will just think logical, like, okay, maybe something is there or
It's one bloody cockroach or one rat.
something. Like it always has to be logical. And then you go, you see the window opened and then breeze is blowing, it's about to rain, and then you close the window. Like simple things like that normally I would have been scared and start binding and casting.
Yeah.
I just the world for what it is. It's a very simple place. I'm not saying there is no spiritual part. It's possible. I mean, I can't prove it now. I like to say I'm a scientist. Anything I can't prove, I can't stamp it and say it's fact. It's possible there is a spiritual world. It's possible there isn't. I can't say. But our day-to-day life, I don't think it has so much to do with where the spiritual is crossing the physical and interrupting our daily lives. I don't think so. Because after I left that whole bondage of always thinking towards that direction, I found more peace in myself and then less fear of the unknown, and I'm just free. Let me put it like that. So basically, I was just free and just living my life and not knowing anything.
From secondary school till now?
From my last year in secondary school, yep. From my last year in secondary school down to, and it's funny, down to my second to the last year university, because I did pharmacy and it was a 6 years course. So up to my 5th year in university. So it was my 5th year in university, I started going into spirituality. I started reading on meditation.
Okay.
Because
so please, hold on. There's something that I usually like to when someone say they're into spiritual, what is your own definition? Because whenever someone tells me that, I always take it as it is just you that subscribes to your whatever definition of spirituality. I don't categorize every spiritual person as the same. The way Christians, it's easy to group Christians and Muslims, even easy to group atheists themselves too at times.
Mm-hmm.
But when you say you are spiritual, what does it mean to be spiritual? What's spirituality to you?
Okay, for me personally, spirituality for me is about for me, basically, I would like to use love, because I believe the whole universe is connected, everything on earth. And if you ask me my idea of God, that's my idea of God, the whole universe, the plants, the animals, the ants, human beings, water, everything comes together to make up God, the concept of God. Because all these things are far beyond things we can explain. Like, we can't explain how trees grow from the seeds and then they develop into leaves and branches. How do I put it? We can with science. Yes. But I'm talking like, we know the mechanism of how it does it, but we don't know deep down. Like, I can't sit down now and make a tree grow. Let me put it like that.
And we don't have the ability. We don't have the facilities to make that happen.
So I think
Our biology doesn't permit us. Yeah, because they have what it takes: the ground, the earth, the chemicals. But we're all biochemical organisms, but it's a different composition.
Let me see a good example you can relate to. The food we eat now. You eat an apple now. You know your body digests the apple, and then you use the nutrient. But if I ask you now specifically, is your body doing it too? But if I ask you specifically now, how do you do it in your body? You can't tell me. You just know what scientists have told us, like, okay, it is broken down into energy in the end, and then your body uses the energy. Basically,
scientists can show us the actual process practically themselves, where we ourselves will be involved in it.
Okay, maybe let me make my point before I round back to this, and maybe you would understand. So basically, what I'm saying, everything is an individual in its own, and then together, everything coming together is what makes up a complete entity, and that's what I see as God. So without the trees, if we want to exempt the trees, we can't call it God. If we want to exempt the water bodies, we can't call it God. So the collection of everything together is what we call God. So the trees, although they are so different from us, they have their own mechanism of growing and everything. They they can be in their own world, or how will I say, be in their own realm of existence. But in the end, all of us together is what make up God. Basically, that was what I was trying to say.
Okay, but why use the term God? All what you're describing is just the universe.
Exactly. That's why I say if I was to describe it as God. But I'd like to describe it as the collective. Like, it's a collective energy that made all of us. And then our body is so complex. It's very, very complex and very detailed. Like I was using the example of eating an apple now. Your body is very complex that I can digest an apple now without you knowing. You eat an apple and sleep, your body will digest it for you. So it means even you in your subconscious, there are still things that when you are not conscious, it is still functioning within you that you cannot even control. Do you understand?
I understand the what they call the fascination behind that. Like, how is it possible that when you are conscious, when you are unconscious, your brain is still it's
exactly.
It's a brain
So
function.
that's why I like to believe every individual entity on its own. I don't believe one person is in the sky controlling everything. I like to believe everything is a universe on its own. Your body is a universe on its own. And then all those tiny, tiny cells that make up your body, even though they have their own function, the cells that their function is to take, like, your nerves and your whole blood circular system that is to circulate blood in your body is doing its function. Your heart is pumping blood, is doing its function. All those things individually are entities on their own. And then when they come together, they make up an entity that is called you. So that's how I like to think of the universe. Every different entity, the trees, the river, everything, they are on their own. They have their own function. But in the end, all of them still come together to make one entity that it's like a general function. That's how I like to think about it and simplify it for myself, basically.
Okay.
So my spirituality. So my spirituality is to respect every living thing and everything in existence and honor them how I would honor God. So if I'm seeing an animal, and then I didn't add, I'm vegan, basically.
I was about to ask you that. How do you cope in Nigeria? Wow.
I know, right? Like 3 years now.
Where even the stew you want to, your stew, you can't escape some chicken seasoning. Chicken is everywhere. See,
but then my family, they are very
against us is the chickens. The chickens will come for us. We kill them and they are unborn.
You understand? But then, so me, it's just a way of me respecting nature and respecting everything as God. And it made me, I was so conscious about I cannot just see an ant moving on the road and then I'll just kill it. Because I respect it. The anatomy that ant has to its life is the same way I have to my life. I feel like I and this ant, we are equal. Just because it's smaller than me and I have power over it doesn't mean like I'm better than it or I'm superior to it. So I like to think everything is equal and the same. It's the same energy flowing through everybody, flowing through everything in the end. So basically,
forgive me for being a little silly, but if the ant come for you, you no go kill them.
But you know one funny thing? The ants won't come for you.
Sometimes they can just start walking. You know, like maybe when rain falls, next thing they will just start.
Redirect it. You can redirect them.
I don't take that to school. We are bringing out the big gun and
what will they do to you? What will an ant do to you? If you're talking of a one or a snake,
it's not like they fly. I am terrified of them. Bees, wasps, hornets. I am terrified of those insects.
That's the point. Once you don't disturb them, they won't disturb you.
They would want to flew inside my office. I took off. I didn't even wait to find out. I did not even Bees, snakes.
Okay, but then we are lucky. Like me, I can't remember. I don't think I've even seen a snake or when last I saw a snake or anything. So, but I'm just saying, I used to try to be aware enough and always conscious to not cause harm to other things because it's just like causing harm to myself. So if if I would honor God and I'm like, oh, this is God in heaven, he's so wonderful, I should be able to look at an ant too and be like, oh, this is so magnificent, it's so wonderful. With the same, everything is one and the same to me.
Okay.
So that whole concept of just ignoring your environment. But it's funny, even in the Bible, it's when Paul was writing his letters to the churches, he was telling them, like, how can you say you love God when you've not even showed love to your brother that you are seeing? If you've not shown love to the person you're seeing that is on earth with you, how can you claim that you love God that you've not even seen? So even the Bible have very beautiful verses about love when they are preaching about love. And I believe in love so much because I believe love is the energy that drives the universe. It's basically what I would say, okay, now people can have babies without, but love is basically what is pushing us to want to procreate and keep our species.
Love of what in particular? Some people love money, some people love bulls, some people love Canadian, some people love sex. I agree with you in that side. You?
I would like to say all those things are want and desire. Because if you look at the context of love is like an energy that you can't even control. It's like, and now love have been so, people have bastardized the word so much because they just use it. Oh, I love weed, I love water, I love food. Like they now use it for basic things that they are supposed to use want and desire and other words. I feel love is very beautiful word. It's a very beautiful energy that makes things to happen. It's more than even the human mind can comprehend.
If somebody is always thinking there's a point where you cross wants and love with all those money and Google and I love money.
That's what I'm saying. You love money. Is that really love? I mean, would you ascribe to love to something?
It might be a crazy kind of love, but it's all love. There are different types of love. There's
right?
the sexual love, there's the romantic love, there's the platonic love, there's the sibling love, familiar love.
Love. Think of that feeling you have when you sincerely know you're in love with someone. You meet a lady and you guys are talking, you're kicking things off, and you start realizing you're falling for this person. The way you feel, can you explain that feeling? It literally spills into your whole life. You're happy, your day is bright. When the person texts you, you see the notification on your phone, you're already smiling. Do you get? Like that feeling, that isolated feeling. Now think of it. Now apply it to weed and money. I mean, yes, I get money now. We are in a world that is run by capitalism.
Yeah, they smile. Yeah, they smile anytime. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. Now, so let me.
Anytime I see a lot, I smile.
Because in Nigeria, we have a healthy relationship.
Unexpected alerts. Like alert wey dey doubt say go come, e can't land heavy. No, that's all strong.
But that's happiness you feel. Is it love? Can you compare it to when what you felt for the person that you liked or you love, you're in love with? Can you really if don't even be haste, like don't be quick to answer, just compare the feeling. Yes, money entered your phone. You're happy now, you have money, you can ball, you're more confident. And then this person that you said something with said like his pack, and then now you're so overwhelmed, you're in love with them.
I'm so confident I can be loved. It's so good to be loved,
Guy, you don't even want to accept.
I'm a little hungry. I did hold on to my love.
Let's give money. Money has so much. It has this energy about it.
See, no matter you all say fall in love, money still needs to enter to grease the movement. Not even people be mad money, but money gas just dey.
I understand. So
the
let's use
capitalist system has eaten deep inside our lives. We can't just run
funny enough, it's not supposed. I feel just as Nigerians, we have an unhealthy relationship with money.
It's because of the poverty now. It's when poverty, money is so scarce. So when you see it, you begin to salivate.
It's just so like example. I did school in Nigeria. I don't want to say where I schooled because I'm trying to be.
Yeah.
But when I was in school, like you could stay the way things were was so easy. Okay, we had a school bus that could move around the city and move us, so you're not thinking of transport and stuff. But as students, you could just live a very decent life. You would have like little to no money and you're not even bothered because everything you need, you can get it.
Yeah.
Transportation is there. Feeding is not that much big of a deal. And even if you don't have money, you can still go to nice places and chill and just sit down for the serenity and the beauty and all those stuff. But I noticed when I came back to Nigeria, every single time I needed to do anything simple, the simplest chilling, I needed extra money. So I can understand.
Outside is expensive.
I know. We are going to the bank and then because of it was that COVID period I came back and there are queues and all those extra things you have to tip. It's now, even right now, I'm learning how to pay your way and do things. Like I'm still learning it. And I used to think it's an insult before to try to pay your way to do things. Like you're insulting the person there. But now I'm seeing they're even happy you are doing it and they're angry when you don't do it.
It's an expectation now.
Thank you. So it's like a culture shock. So I understand why you need money for everything. You are going to the bank, you have to tip the gate man to take you straight to where you are going to so that you don't join the line. You are going to do whatever and you need to be paying. You are going for your NYC clearance and you have to pay them so that you won't come for like once you have money, everything is just easy for you. Basic things that you're supposed to get, but if you have money, that's only when you can access it. If you don't have money, you can't access basic things. So I can totally understand that. Well, let's not deviate so far.
Yeah, so, I love it's there needs to be something that anchors you to stay alive. Like for me, I know say heaven and hell no day, but I still don't have a reason to kill myself because there are people that make life worth living, and I would like to stick around for a little while longer.
And I also believe in purpose because I believe the universe is it's like a mathematics equation. Everything is in place and it's already destined. Let me put it like that. Like we are following a formula.
Yeah, I feel there's no purpose, but why do you feel that then?
Yeah, I understand, right? Because I believe first of all, the human body is too perfect to just be a mistake. Like we just came here to freestyle.
Our body can be better. We have one of the worst eyes in the animal kingdom.
Evolution, right? Over time, our body will keep getting better. But why do you think our body is trying to adapt and survive and get better and keep growing?
Our cells don't want to die. It wants to just keep surviving. That's why we are the ones trying to adjust to the earth, not the earth adjusting to us. The earth is actively trying to kill us every fucking day.
I mean, we are polluting the earth, right? And trying to kill.
The earth is vex. So get out of me, you fleas. We're like fleas on the earth.
So if I'm diving into my spirituality, I feel I'm still getting to know it, but it's very deep for me. Like we could talk about a lot of things and I'll have to be explained. But I believe in souls. I believe in past lives. I believe in reincarnation. It's almost like his spirituality all over again. Like,
so but for me, we may have reincarnated because when I tell people, I said there's a possibility this my container, what my consciousness might have been in a past life, but the fact that I cannot remember that past life, this is a new life. So it's reincarnation in the mud.
Okay,
that's it.
That's why
I have no memories of that past life. I have no reference from where I can draw my experiences of that past life to add to this new life. It's not reincarnation.
If you remember that past life, it interrupts this present life, and you won't live this present life as a new life. You live it as a continuation of the past life.
But the problem now that you're saying we can't remember it, we can't even. It's hard that saying there was a past life is just an assumption or a claim that's not yet proven.
It's a claim that has not been proven.
So that's the problem.
I don't know if you've read Dolores Cannon, any of her book. She's like a past therapy regressionist.
I have a problem with reading, which I'm battling.
Okay, I can understand. For me, like I said, I'm very curious. You'll be surprised the kind of books I've read, the kind of knowledge I've had. But then I like myself because there's no knowledge I hold on to and I'm like, oh, this is it or something. I'm always open to logical reasoning and then things that make sense. And then, oh, I just know this as a fun fact or I know this as someone else's belief or part of the theory to existence, basically. But why I believe life has a purpose, because I believe in souls. Like your soul just come and inhabits this container that you call your body, but the real you is your soul. That's the essence, like what is keeping this body alive, basically. And then your soul is what have gone through those past lives and is coming to learn a lesson and gain experience, if you want to put it like that, and then add that experience to what you have learned. And then other souls are coming
that
to
experience
learn.
is my problem. The experience does not count if you don't have the memories to learn from.
When you need to get the memories, you will get it. How? Let me put it like this. I believe when you die, your moment of death, you get clarity, or after you die, from your moment of death and after death, you'll get clarity of what life is really about.
How do you know this?
That's why I say it's my personal speculation. And then I've read some really crazy things and you know, when you are reading different sources and they're talking of different things, but then you can relate to something you've read before and it's fitting so well and it's making sense, even though they're talking about entirely different things. But that's what I'm saying. Personally, I like to believe life has a purpose and then we are meant to learn things. And it's just like, how will I put it, an entity trying to experience everything that is there to experience. And then it's like, okay, let me experience everything that is there to experience so that I can gain every knowledge. And then we are just extensions of that entity. They are going to make they are going to get experiences. And then in the end, we would come back to this, how like one, how I used to say, the whole organism that makes up one entity. And then we would have all the knowledge there is to know. I'm sorry, I'm very big on knowledge. I feel like you can know everything there is to know in the whole universe. And that's what I'm hoping for myself, at least. So I would know what happens after death, the purpose of life, the universe, other planets, if other things exist, what other souls are doing on other planets and basic things like that.
Yeah, but you know the challenge why I'm pushing back with this, because this what you are describing is very similar to what the Abrahamics kind of believe, but without the Abrahamic baggage.
But me, I don't believe in heaven and hell.
Yeah, I know. What I'm saying is feel without the Abrahamic baggage of the threat and believe or die, you get. Is this just your own personal philosophy?
Yes, my own is just based. I feel like the human soul is in search of knowledge, basically. So if we are trying to get knowledge, and in the end, we would get that knowledge. In the end, me and you, we are one person. Me, you, and whoever is listening, we are all one entity in the end. It's just that
the universe.
Yes, like I said, how I'm a human being here. The tree is on its own, the ant is on its own, the water body is on its own. But in the end, we are all on Earth. And we are still connected. The trees provide oxygen for us. We provide carbon monoxide for the trees. The water goes into the clouds, it's evaporated into the ground. It provides rain for the ground. It provides water for us to drink. And then it provides water for the animals. And when we die, our body will nourish the earth. So it's like a whole circle where all of us are intertwined into one entity. And we like to think of ourselves as different. But in the end, we are all still, it's like an ecosystem.
It is an ecosystem.
Exactly, it is an ecosystem. I'm just trying to not be so definite about anything. But basically, so that's how I think the way the world is now, if you replicate it on a grand scheme of things, that's how it is. We are still all interconnected. It's like just one energy that is flowing through all of us, and in the end, it makes us, we are one and the same thing. We just have, is this our perception of it that is making us feel like we are different entities?
Because now only we waka come, that's what we think. It's how do I put it now? Sometimes I still sit down and be like, what actually started this whole bullshit? You understand? I'm like, yes, big banging, but why did the banging bang? You know, it's
of knowledge. Basically, nobody no entity have experienced your life before. Your life have never been lived. My life have never been lived. We are the first people experiencing it, and whatever knowledge we get in this lifetime it's like it is something new. So it's new knowledge that is added to the collective.
So does the collective know how we can create batteries that will finally hold very high charge?
Yes, it does. And
so that we can get rid of this oil money. Seriously.
I mean, yes, it does.
Make the collective hurry up. If they smoke it, they do fast.
I know, right? No, me too. I used to say like, but I like to think we are giving what we are ready for. Basically, like example, we are on the same earth with other people. We are on the same earth with other people, but there are other countries. They are so advanced.
But you say we are giving what we are ready for.
Yes.
Were we ready? Religion? Were we sure we're ready for dark ages?
Yes, that's the level. That's what we're ready for. That's what our mind could comprehend at that point. Example now, if you go back in time and you meet people when human beings were still in caves, and you try to explain the terms of having flight to them, like you could just enter this mighty metal that weighs a ton and then it flies 60,000 feet in the air. It won't make sense to them. Or you're trying to explain a video call to them or Zoom meeting, like you could hold a device and you see somebody across the earth. In fact, somebody that is even like just 10 feet away, you can see them exactly what they're doing. You can talk to them. They won't understand. They'll be looking at you like, what's this? Because their minds cannot comprehend.
To different places. That's why. That's what I was asking. Like, are they like, were we ready? We Africans, were we ready to be enslaved? You understand? So
yes, and that's one thing.
My mind goes different places. Like, if you feel there's a deliberate orchestration of the events that happen in history, then we need to.
I don't believe there is like deliberate, like, okay, this event is supposed to happen like this. I believe as we are going, we are making life as we are going. Like I say, nobody have lived the experience. So nobody knows what decision you would make. Nobody knows what decision I'll make next. It's after you make that decision, the actions that follow it will now be based on the previous decisions that we've made. Do you understand?
I think I do.
So it's not like there's, okay, maybe the way I explain it, it's not like there's a destined path, like, okay, this person, it's just based on how we are thinking and how we are going. As we are making decisions, we are creating life as we are going.
Yes, that's the way you see it. We don't know what the future holds now. We create the future.
Exactly. We don't know what the future holds. So it's as we are going, we are making
things of the past. Yeah.
Exactly. Like right now, am I going to stand up or not? I do not know. But if I decide to stand up in my brain, that's when I stand up, that will be like, okay, she actually stood up. If I still sit down, I'll be like, okay, she sat down. Nobody can say what it is until I do it.
Yeah.
What happened to us was like a result of different actions. And then I don't even like talking about it because I would just start ranting about colonialism and all this stuff. But those white people, they already
people think colonialism has ended.
Right, exactly, and it hasn't ended. So that's why I'm still even pained. So they sat down as a collective and they made their own decision to come and enslave us. We as a collective, we sat down, or our ancestors as their own collective, they sat down. And when the war started, if you read African history, you know that the war didn't just start when they started enslaving us. From the beginning, like there were times our ancestors were already fighting the Portuguese and they were having long wars for years, several years, and they kept fighting them and trying to protect our continent and stuff. But over the years, they kept planning and they were ready for war more than we're ever ready for. So it's like their own, their own persistence. Exactly. They were very persistent. I know these white people, it's like, oh, this is their goal. And then everybody coming into a leadership position is pursuing that one goal. So as they are making a plan, they are bringing everybody along, their children, they're already training them towards that goal and everything. So everybody coming into leadership or into power is coming to come and continue what the previous people have started. It's not like in Africa where we're living in kingdoms and colonies and we're already isolated small communities. So there was no sense of purpose or there was no driving force that was going to bring us together. It was just when different countries were trying to defend themselves from the invaders, basically.
Do you think evolution has something to do with our disadvantage?
I've never thought about that
Because we
question.
being the way I'm like, we being in the savannah, we had warm weather, we're chilling, we're not thinking winter is coming. Meanwhile, the Neanderthals and co were thinking. Because just as they move there, their pigments change from here. So the weather, they're planning for the future, enable them to sit down and think. I don't know, maybe.
I think what made us the way we were and why is because we're not ready for war. We're not thinking about subduing. It's different when something is driving you.
When you have savannah cause I'm now. I'm at that heat.
We didn't have any
permanent summer.
Permanent summer. Well, so I say we didn't have any. We didn't have any driving force or system in place. Like you see now, the whole of Europe, the whole of America, they are dealing with us as continents. And even till now, we are dealing with Europe as a continent. We are dealing with America as a continent, Asia. But when they are dealing with us, they are dealing with us individually as countries. Even the whole African Union, is a scam. But if they are coming to deal with Nigerians now, they are dealing with Nigerians. Ghana, they are not aware of. Even if they are aware, it's just like political news. They are not involved. All the neighboring countries, Ghana, Niger, all those neighboring countries, it's not like they are involved in our politics. So the white people can come, do what they want to, the business they want to do in Nigeria, leave. Come to Ghana, deal with Ghana the way they want to do with Ghana, leave. Come to Botswana, have their own business in Botswana, leave. Like individual countries, we don't have that sense of unity till now. And the moment Africa, we have that sense of unity, that's when our liberation will start. When they are coming to deal with us and they're dealing with us as Africa, not as a country, because now it will be able to match their power and match their strength. If now the whole of Europe wants to come and invade, see the way France now was doing in Niger. They were angry that they are kicking them out and they were willing to cause war in a country, and other African countries were even backing them up. I mean, our president was willing to back them up.
The boy got secure in position.
Exactly. So if you look at it like that, you see why it was easy for them to conquer. And then there was a stage where African countries, some African communities, we feel, okay, instead of you coming to take my community and my people, let me go and get people from neighboring communities and sell to you so that you will leave my people. Because obviously, they can't stand against the whole continent. They were the Portuguese, the British, the Europeans, all of them, they just came like flies to come and just plunder Africa.
Because they felt they could and they could.
Yep.
So that's the sad history that we need to wake the fuck up from. Yeah, so Gina, this is why I always like to clarify, why I get clarity of spirituality, because when you feel also spiritual, I was expecting, are we going to hear Isheshi or Ifa or Dinala?
That's interesting too.
So that's what I expected, but that's why I needed clarity, because you are the second pantheist to come on here. So that's why I needed to clarify what is. That's why I think every person that says they are spiritual, because even when someone says they are spiritual now, you can find out that they are just Christianity, they are just Christian light or Islam light, wherein they are following the doctrines but kicking the God out of their life. So I'm like, I like that. Go through your process. Do you are living reality more than most. So that's why I always clarify spiritual. It's always confusing.
Spirituality is very broad. Very broad. It's individual. Like I can't come, even if I got awake in the same time with somebody and we're reading the exact same materials and we're practicing the exact same things, it cannot be the same thing because it's for each individual.
Exactly. So since I found out that every case by case. But now your family, your Christian family, then documented you. How did they take your spiritual stance now? Or
I
do they
mean,
know?
it's funny. Well, it's just my dad that we kind of have these conversations with, and I'm trying to tell him how, okay, yeah, Christianity is this. And I used to try to talk to him about African spirituality and stuff like that. So he's the only person I can be open to, and we can have these kind of open conversations because he's open minded. But then my mom, she's
Okay.
very spiritual, and I'm not willing to give her a heart attack because
That's Christianity spirituality. Abby's Christian spirituality.
that I discussed with my dad.
Your mom.
Oh, my mom, yes, definitely Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Strong Christian.
Lakosa bakada.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, so Gina,
You know the funny thing, she kind of knows that I'm not deep into it. Like, she's already sensing it. She's always telling me, like, she knows I'm backsliding. Yeah, that's the word they use. But she doesn't know that
I've left the arena.
Remove my leg, carry my slippers on my head, dust it, and go and lock the door safe. Off Jen.
Hey, I don't know what's going on.
You don't know. And there's no need to tell her because she's not this type that will invade your space. Like, she won't like always come and be. Example now, some Sundays, I just tell her I go to a different church. And my dad is not the type that goes to church every Sunday too. It's just when she's around, sometimes he'll just go. Most times she's not around, he doesn't even go. And then once in a while. So when she goes early to church, me, I'm preparing, I'm doing fake preparation. And then when she leaves, I'll go and lie down back. When she comes back, it's like, oh, I just came back too.
Your update never cast, not lie.
And that's the funny thing. She's not pushy like that. Like, okay, which church did you go to? What did it? It's just sometimes she'll be like, this is your church. They closed early today or something. But she's not that intrusive like that to want to know.
As long as you give her the impression of your departure.
Exactly. She's not intrusive.
My uncle asked me name of church. I don't forget name, man. I go just talk I will just talk one name because redeemed churches, all of them they recycle names. So any church can be any church. They are pastors, so the heartbreak that's waiting for them.
I think my parents low-key contributed to why it was easy for me to just transition. Because even my younger ones, and that's the craziest part, because even my younger ones, they are not like Christian inclined. They don't even believe in the Bible. Sometimes they even would stand be having conversations with my dad, or they will be gisting and they're telling me about things that are contradicting in the Bible. But I don't want to be the one that will tell them, oh, you can be an atheist or you can be this or that. I want them to go on their own path and find what's best for them. So I don't want to expose them to anything and disrupt their knowledge. Like, okay, I'm seeing them being curious and they are getting to know and realize, okay, this is this. And I see them at that stage where I just realized now all these things is not even real. And then I was just living my life and freestyling before I now found my spirituality. So I feel it's going to be the same for them. I don't know. Or they can decide to freestyle however they want. But that's the funny thing with life. We are not meant to be spiritual. We are not meant to be anything. It's just for you to come and live life and go. There is no, you're meant to do this, you're meant to not do this. It's just simple. That's why the whole concept of good and bad too is like, it's basically what our societal constructs that tell us what's good and what's bad.
Yeah, and we're building better social constructs. Because before slavery was cool, now it's not.
Exactly.
Black people were not cool, but now we're kind of, but they still under the surface, still being struggled. But bold racism is no more popular. So you need to be. Now you have to be racist and slick. Put it systematically. Hope I won't get flagged on YouTube, sure. Yeah.
You just mute it.
Hey, if I can find this doing editing. Yeah, so Gina, it's been great having a conversation with you. Do you want us to find you online?
Nah.
Okay. For national peace. Except they come to Discord and jam you without knowing Gina talking to.
Find me on Discord.
No Allah. So join the Discord by fire, by force, if you want to see Gina. So thank you for coming. Really appreciate you.
Thank you for inviting me. It was interesting.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Please consider subscribing on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and other places podcasts are available. Then check out the show notes for links you may find useful, including our Discord server. Would love to have you there. Have a great week, and I will catch you on the next one.